Hi everyone, Stephen Stewart here. Going to run through an update on Orecap. It is Q3. Happy Canada Day, and we're excited about updating about each of our portfolio companies. In particular, most recently, we had very exciting drill results come out of CPRAM, which is our latest and greatest private company. It's Ontario's largest copper resource and clearly getting bigger. I'm just about to head to site to American Eagle. They're underway on a 15,000-meter drill program out on the NAC. Looking interesting, looking forward to being on site. AALL is drilling. They're in the midst of a 25,000-meter drill campaign with results, follow-up results to the spectacular Charger and BBM zone results that they had. CuEq Copper's plugging away here, and lots of updates behind the scenes. We'll have some news out there shortly. We're working to develop the economics and the engineering plan and present that to the shareholders and the stakeholders. And Mustango River Resources, which is flying under the radar for now, but lots of plans. So this is Orecap. We're part of the OR Group. They're two separate, distinct organizations, but Orecap is publicly traded. It's an investment issuer, meaning that it can buy and sell shares. And we use it as the primary investment vehicle to create new opportunities. And as you can see here, we create great companies. CPRAM is our latest. In the past, we've spun off CuEq Copper, American Eagle. OR Group was the founder of Baseload, and we did some activist investing in AALL Resource and Mustango River Resources, each of which Orecap, the public company, has exposure to. And of course, we have a pipeline of opportunities. We have a very specific view on our industry and the metals industry at large. It's optimistic, it's very bullish, but it requires patience and a lot of skill, effort, and timing. And we see a lot of opportunity. It's a very inefficient market, and if you know where to look and how to weed out the not so great opportunities, there's a lot of money to be made. And we start off by saying, can this go into production? And it all starts there. And if we don't see anything that kills it, we take a deeper look. But anyways, a lot of due diligence, we see a lot of deal flow, and there will be new opportunities that Orecap will put forward. So that's exciting. High level, this is Orecap's portfolio: American Eagle, Wally, CuEq Copper, Mustango, CPRAM, etc. You can see we've done quite well. Trades at a discount, which is not entirely unusual for, call it, if you will, holding companies, for lack of a better term. We're not very much not a holding company, but that's typically how these things might get categorized. Nonetheless, there's going to be an awful lot of growth here. I think American Eagle, well, I won't list them off again, but each of them has a bright future, and those values that we list on the far right-hand side have the potential to grow exponentially, certainly multiples. So let's start there. Each of these companies are well-run, well-financed, and have great projects and great people running. So CPRAM, really spectacular drill results. This project is on the rail, on the road, has access to power. It's in a mature mining district. It's a copper nickel, it's a polymetallic with copper rich deposit right in the middle of Pickle Lake, which traditionally is a gold camp. But here we have this unique copper deposit. As we say, it is the largest copper deposit in Ontario, and it's going to grow. You can see here we have 100 meters at 1.1% copper equivalent within nearly 200 meters at 1%, another 200-meter intersection, and so on and so forth. These are 7 separate holes, all focused on an area, what we call the K2, which I'll talk about in a second. But I mean, clearly, these are all relatively near surface. So our objective here is to delineate a near surface, lower grade, meaning sub 1%, because this used to be a mine over to the west on the K1 of about a 1.5% copper. But there's this deposit over to the east where we see very simple geology. Geology is never that simple, but simple, straightforward geology. It's quite predictive in how we drill it. And we're getting these incredible intersections. There's no other way to describe these intersections as very, very interesting, long, high grade for an open pit type deposit. And this is a section, so you can see there's no mineralization. It tends to come in these mineralized vein systems that are stacked There's one hole there that I'll flip back to. You can see this hole here. This is a 200-meter intersection nearly, but you can see 25 meters, 31 meters, 28, so on and so forth. So that's sort of representative of what the system is like, but it's incredibly well mineralized. It's, as you see, it starts very near surface, and I think what's also interesting. So just to sort of highlight, this is where the old Thierry mine is, and this is where everybody was really looking before. And this was a high-grade mine. It was in production in the 70s, and it was upwards of 1.5 to 2% was the production they were getting there. And they were shipping all of the concentrate east to the Horn smelter, just kind of like Opemiska did. Which is a CuEq copper asset. But here we're really focused on the K11. We see we've torn down the database and the geology, and we see huge potential to grow, get lots of tons here on the K11, and then potentially link it up with Thierry. I'll show you that some geophysical suggestions that make that argument. But this is going to get bigger. There's little doubt in my mind that this is going to be a really big deposit with some upside. And the upside is there another high grade shoot there? It's certainly possible. Is there gold? Where certainly you can see these are old Barrick and Newmont assets. This is Donna Lake, that's Newmont. Central Patricia is an old Barrick asset. So these is very, very high grade gold area, which this project in the east has certainly had gold potential, but here further on the west, it's really copper, nickel, and other interesting metals. But it's a great project. We bought it out of a special situation at the end of 2023, and we've been tearing it down and building it back up from the bottom up. And these drill holes have just totally confirmed our thesis. So it's great news. Where you see here on the east side of the project is the K1 deposit. You can see all these are the new holes that were just released recently. You can see it's opening up this area. Those results were just really quite spectacular. And over here to the west is the K2. This is where you see this is they've got an in-place resource, high grade. So this is underground. So there's and that material is still there, even though some of it was mined. And as I noted before, the geology on this project, at least in terms of the copper, is quite easy to predict. It runs east-west, and it's easy to hit. We just see it. It's very predictive. You can step out with wide zones and kind of expect to hit it. So it hasn't been, the boundaries have not been found, certainly not to the east and the west. And clearly, as one of our holes drilled underneath everything, it's definitely open at depth, and it appears to get wider at depth. So the idea here is to eventually step out here and try and connect these two zones. We can see there is definitely some geophysical suggestions here that this trend continues. Expect us to test that. I mean, that's really the blue sky here. There could be some wonderful surprises, but even failing those surprises, we do expect the K1 deposit to grow significantly east-west and at depth. This is just sort of a zoom in, highlighting those holes. Again, really wonderful numbers, especially when you're on the rail on a project that has the provenance. It's shipped to the Horn smelter. This has been in production. We absolutely think it has the potential, good potential, to go back into production, but it is early days and it does need some work. Of course, CuEq copper. I mean, I think every time I look at Thierry or a CPRAM, which of course means copper in Latin, I think of CuEq copper and the experience that our whole OR group team has gone through with this, which has been really quite remarkable in terms of what Opemiska represents. It's funny, we have the highest grade open pit copper deposit in Canada with CuEq copper, and the largest copper deposit in Ontario with CPRAM. So we're really starting to express our interest and grow our interest in copper for good reason. But CuEq copper has a very big open pit deposit, 100 million tons at nearly 1% copper equivalent. It's at its, I don't say it's at its all-time lows, but it's at a 2 or 3 year lows right now, just as a circumstance of where it is in the marketplace. We're working hard to delineate a mine plan that mitigates the risks and the social license, the perception, I should say, mostly the perception, the social license risks. That's why I think this company is discounted as a result of the perception that can this be built? We think it can. The town is our partners. We're working on ways to express that, but on a social license basis, but also, of course, most importantly, by the engineering and economic reports, which are all underway. And then we're going to grow. We're going to grow through drilling on the CuEq and Robitaille and a whole slew of other opportunities on our existing land package. But of course, we're also very M&A focused, and there are a handful of assets in this district that we think complement the Opemiska and its objectives quite well. Just briefly, American Eagle portfolio company, Orecap, owns approximately 10% plus some warrants. We spun this company off a number of years ago. It's been run very well and done very well under Tony and Charlie and Neil's expertise. We've made a wonderful discovery there. It looks like a very large copper gold porphyry system. It's well financed. Teck is a significant shareholder, and we're all heading out there on next week to go see what they've been up to. And I've seen some of the core. It looks pretty interesting, and but obviously the assays will tell the tale. But nonetheless, American Eagle has appeared as a very exciting project and bright future ahead that Orecap is very well exposed to. Wally, world-class drill hole. Drill holes don't make mines. At least one drill hole doesn't make a mine. But we're onto something. There's little doubt in my mind. You can sort of see there's a number of discoveries that have been made on this tract of land that Wally owns, and the Charger gets headlines. It's a 1,400 or 1,500 gram meter hole. Maybe once in your life, if you're lucky, you get a hole like that. You cannot ignore the BBM. I really stress the BBM is slow and steady growing. Really phenomenal intersections there of a different style of mineralization than the Charger M-Tire and Scepter, but nonetheless, it's demonstrative of how fertile and full of metal this particular system is. Again, run by Andrew Chubb, who's done a wonderful job at not reinterpreting, but seeing the ground in a way that nobody else had seen it before. And he has spent the last number of years developing this thesis, and just recently he's getting the credit by pulling out these drill intersections. And I think we've done about 8,000 meters since the Charger and the BBM holes have come out, which I think was in March or April, but very exciting, a lot of eyes. Again, Orecap has significant exposure to that. It's been very involved in recapitalizing and retooling this company. It's very exciting, so we're looking forward to it. What else do we have? Mustango River Resources. Well, Mustango River Resource has yet to have its run. OCI, Orecap, owns a significant percent, I think about 14% of Mustango River Resources, which, as I said, is overlooked. But I think that's about to change. I really do. For one thing, we've got Jamie Spratt, who's recently come in as the CEO. Jamie's a very high quality individual and CEO. I'd say Mustango Rivers has lacked direction, proper direction. But now that Jamie comes in there, we've got two very interesting land packages in the Kirkland Lake camp. Of course, we've got the Omega, which we are in the process of completely tearing down and rebuilding to have a better view on it. It's very fertile ground and a world-class break, the Cadillac Larder Lake break. You can see it there. It's got an existing resource in place, which we think without drilling a hole, we're going to get bigger because we still don't really agree with how that resource was done. And of course, we've got the Kirkland West, which is the extension of the Macassa, which is Canada's highest grade gold mine in production and owned by Agnico Eagle. Very strategic land position there. So Mustango is in a wonderful position, let alone its position in the Shebandouin, which is an emerging district. But if you look at Mustango River, it's got excellent cash position, a new refocused leadership led by Jamie Spratt. I assure you there are interesting things to come there, maybe some unexpected things, but there's a lot of value there. There's no question about it. It's all a team backed by Jamie and, of course, backed by Or Group and Orecap. So that's it for now. Quick update. Anybody wants to reach me, my phone number and email are there. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.